are. But what we do need to have some concern over is what's going in our 7 avenues of access. Because many very socially acceptable things are coming in, and like dripping tap on a stone, they're eating away specifically at frontal lobe function. So that by the time the person's in their latter years of life, the brain is going. And as you see from what we've looked at this week, you can't blame the germ and you can't blame the genes. Genetics loads the gun, but it is lifestyle that pulls the trigger. Let's have a look at these stimulants that are coming in little by little, like the dripping tap on a stone, and eating away at frontal lobe functions. Sugar. I think I mentioned the book the other day called Sweet Poison. Sweet poison, because that's what it is. The brain can only hold a 2-minute supply of glucose at any one time. The brain consumes glucose at 15 times the rate of any other cell. And when sugar goes in to the body, blood glucose levels rise dramatically. There's no fibre to hold it back as there is in the sugar cane. There's no fibre to hold it back as there is in the breakfast you had this morning. The breakfast you had this morning had quite a lot of glucose in it, but it was all bound up in fibre. And that fibre's going to slowly, consistently, steadily release the glucose all the way to lunch. That's how it's supposed to happen. But when this pure crystallized sugar that's extracted from the sugarcane plant goes into the body, blood glucose levels rise dramatically. At least the lolly aisle is called a lolly aisle in the supermarket. What about the cereal aisle? Nutrigrain. With the I-Man on the front, there's just as much sugar in that as there is in your Cocoa Pops, as in your Fruit Loops. But at least Fruit Loops is obvious. I was staying at my daughter's last week, and one of her flatmates said, I couldn't have breakfast this morning because Nutrigrain's full of ants. Why is it full of ants? There's so much sugar in it. So blood glucose levels rise dramatically. Does that mean reason, judgment and intellect are rising? No, it's like trying to control a fast car. It doesn't work. Very quickly, the brain says to the pancreas, quick, release a corresponding amount of insulin to get the blood glucose levels down. But because it was a crisis and more insulin was released than should be released, where are blood glucose levels going now? They're going too low. How's reason, judgment, intellect and will down there? Not working. No one home. Remember? Your brain can only hold a 2-minute supply of glucose. So once blood glucose levels drop down, in 2 minutes the brain is starting to falter. You see it on the job site all the time, don't you? The work site. The person's blood sugar levels go off from their cup of coffee and maybe their croissant or toast and jam. 9:30, would you say about 9:30? Starting to drop. The person goes, oh, quick, get me a cup of coffee with 3 teaspoons of sugar. Get me a Coke, get me a Mars bar, get me some lollies. And you say, look, I've just been to Misty Mountain Health Retreat and I've just learnt these things aren't good for you. What will the answer be? Blip, blip, blip. I don't care about your stupid health retreat. What's that a clear sign of? This isn't working, and it's not. Don't expect them to be reasonable. That's not the time to tell them. The time to tell them is when they say, how come you look so good? How come you don't need this coffee boost? Well, I'm so glad you asked. But what does the person do down there? They grab for the something that'll get them up. And does it get them up? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The sugar gets them up. But what's happening then? Oh, no, we're too high. Stop the glucagon, release the insulin. Oh, no, we're too low. Stop the insulin, release the glucagon. It's this whiplash, this biochemical seesaw that is just wearing brains out and it's wearing pancreases out.